Hi, I'm Michael McCarthy from ASUP. So how do you develop trust with a client, and why is that important? People won't buy from you unless they trust you. And trust can actually be broken down into a formula called the trust equation. So let's begin and take a look at what is part of the trust equation. So first, we're going to start with T is for trust. The first variable is C. C stands for credibility. Are you really the owner of this company? Did you really go to that great college for 4 years? Do you really have a PhD? Are you really that person who you say you are? If you are and you represent yourself that way, then you have credibility. The second is R for reliability. When you say, hey, I'm going to call you next week for lunch, please do, because your client is going to be paying attention. If you say, I'm going to call you next week for lunch, and you do, your trust score is going to go up with your client. But if you don't, because you thought you were just making conversation and being conversational and that was just a casual thing, not an actual commitment, your client's going to remember that sometimes when you say things, it doesn't always happen. It's very important that whatever you say you're going to do, you actually do. That includes, I'm going to send you an email by 2 p.m. and I'm going to attach a file on it, something that you need. Please do it by 2 p.m. If you can't make that commitment, make sure that you can commit to something that you can do. If you think you can do it by 2 p.m. today, just say, I'm going to have it to you by end of business tonight. That means before midnight. Give yourself some time. The next variable is intimacy. This isn't physical intimacy, but this is a verbal social intimacy. And intimacy is going to have two components. The first is, can you go from a social conversation, hey, how you doing, how was your weekend, over to a professional conversation, let's get down to business, and then be able to toggle back and forth between the two. People like to know that you're a real human being, but they also like to know that you are a professional as well. The second part of intimacy is being able to deliver bad news, something awkward. We don't like to hurt people's feelings. We don't like to have awkward conversations. But it's really important that if there is some of that bad news that needs to be delivered, that you can say, hey, may I have permission to have an awkward conversation with you? I don't like to hurt people's feelings, but I feel like I need to have a discussion with you. Could we spend a few minutes now and talk about that? That's going to raise your trust score because people know that you can talk about good things, but you can also have that awkward conversation. This is all going to be divided by your ego orientation. Where are you coming from? If your focus is all about you and all about what you're going to be getting out of the deal, that's going to wipe away all the good things that you've done. You could be the most credible, reliable, intimate person, perfect 5-star on that. But if your client feels that you don't care about them, that you only care about yourself and what you're going to get out of the deal, your trust score is going to drop. If you make sure that you're here for your client, that it's all about them, you're here to help them and get them what they want, your trust score is going to rise. So I'd encourage you to take a look at some of the relationships that you have. Who do you trust? How do they score? My guess is they score very well. And who don't you trust? My guess is they don't score very well here. And then ask yourself, where do I think my clients are going to score me? And if you feel that you're low in an area, this is where you can actually correct it. So thank you, and I hope the trust score helps you.